I don't know how to respond to that. Good morning, everybody. This is the first episode of Coffee and Your Cruise Comments. Let's get started. Hey everyone, my name is Chris Dickman. I'm the president of CruiseReport.com. And for those of you that are not familiar with our website and our social media platform, we are cruise journalists. We're not travel agents. We do not sell cruises. We don't sell travel products, but we do review them and we discuss them and we talk about cruise-related news and information on this website. So, what we're doing in this video, this is actually a concept that I did on another YouTube channel that I operate, and it's been very successful. And what I do is I periodically go through my YouTube channel, my Facebook, Instagram, and I read through your comments, questions you've asked me, or just comments you've made in general. And I'm basically respond to them on this video. So I've picked out some comments that I think are of more of a general interest to everybody. So if this type of content, if you find that kind of interesting, if you're passionate about cruising, please click that little subscribe button down below. Don't forget the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when we come out with new cruise reviews and new videos. Now, I do this type of a format rather than doing like a live broadcast. A lot of the creators out there do these live broadcasts. I find them a little bit annoying. I don't particularly like live broadcasts on YouTube because it's a lot of, hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, thanks for joining me, Bill. Hey, welcome to this live. They spend all their time talking every time somebody signs into the live chat. So I don't like that. I'd much rather have it edited down. I just want the information. Okay, let's get started with some of your comments. I'll put the comments on the screen as I respond to them. Lord Timothy McKay, and this was in a comment he made on my Celebrity Apex review. He said, maybe I missed it. I was waiting for the air quotes on gratuity explanation. I think this is referring to, I used air quotes when I talked about gratuities on Celebrity Apex, and forgive me for not clarifying that at the time or at the end of that video. The reason I use air quotes is I have a hard time considering something a gratuity when it's added automatically. In my opinion, it's really just a mandatory service charge. Now, I don't know if you can actually even remove a gratuity from a bar tab or a restaurant tab. I've never tried. I don't think you can. I think that's just part of the deal. Most of the cruise lines, if they add gratuities for your stateroom and for the cruise in general, you can go to the front desk, service desk, guest services, and you can have those adjusted or removed. But I don't think you can on a restaurant or a bar tab. So in my opinion, just my opinion, it's not a gratuity. It's a service fee. So they're just adding that on. Anyway, that's what the air quotes were for. Thank you for the question, Lord Timothy McKay. Cynthia Myers. This is our Mardi Gras review from a little over a year ago, and she said, sailed on Mardi Gras at the beginning of this month. Wouldn't hesitate to book again. We enjoyed our cruise very much. Well, Cynthia, I agree. We really liked Mardi Gras. It was one of the very first sailings. It was actually a press trip we were invited on. And we loved it. The ship was full. It was a little crowded. There were no cruise is perfect, but they really actually did a very good job. I was very impressed with Mardi Gras as well. Thank you for that comment, Cynthia. Matt said, sort of surprised on how many cover charges there are and how high priced they are compared to other cruise lines. He's referring to Celebrity Apex. Yeah, the cover charges for the restaurants on Celebrity were pretty steep, honestly. and I think this is a trend we're starting to see on a lot of cruise lines. You're no longer the days of going into a steakhouse and getting, a $15 or $20 cover charge are probably gone. So especially restaurants are pretty popular and they stay pretty booked up. So I think we're going to see prices continue to go up. Unfortunately, we paid, I think, $153 for 2 people to eat at the steakhouse on Celebrity. That's pretty steep. You're at land-based steakhouse prices now. The problem with the cover charge, in my opinion, at least one problem with it, was that the night we went to the steakhouse, which was the last night of the cruise, Ricky really wasn't that hungry. She didn't eat 75 or 65 or whatever it was dollars worth of food. She ordered a chicken breast just because we had paid for the cover charge, but she really didn't even eat half of that. So if you have someone in your party that's really not going to eat, or maybe they just want an appetizer, I think a la carte pricing might be better, or at least offer an option where you can pay the cover charge for the person that wants to eat the full menu, and maybe have a little a la carte menu for the second person. Maybe they just want an appetizer. They don't want to pay $65 for an appetizer. So anyway, that was our experience. Take from it what you will. Lynn Powers asked, and this is the Celebrity Review, she asked, were there solo cruisers? And yes, there were on Celebrity Apex. There were solo cruisers. We did not go to any of the solo events, but they did have some single cruiser, solo cruiser, cocktail parties or activities. And unfortunately, we just didn't get any information on that. I apologize. Okay, Brini posted a comment. This was on our Viking Mars cruise, and that was the cruise where Ricky and I both tested positive for COVID and were quarantined for 5 days. Brini says, so irresponsible leaving the cabin and disembarking when you know that you could be infectious. Everyone knows it takes a few days to test positive, even if you don't have symptoms. The exponential number of people that would have been infected and potentially ended up in hospital is incalculable. And she or he, Brini, I'm not sure if it's a man or a woman, said they unsubscribed from our channel. I'm not sure why you would unsubscribe from a channel. However, I will say a couple of things. Number one, we're now learning a lot more about COVID than we were told previously. The fake news surrounding COVID, we could talk a whole hour about that. Let's not get into that right now. The problem is I got off the ship. I had no symptoms. Ricky was coughing. I got off the ship to see if I could find her some medication, some over-the-counter pharmacy medications, which is all they ended up giving us anyway. It's not like they treat it any differently than they would a cold or a flu or anything like that. And to my knowledge, nobody was taken off the ship and hospitalized. Nobody died as a result of me getting off the ship. I don't know if I infected anybody. I don't have any way to know that. All I know is I had no symptoms until a day or two after we were identified or tested positive. Once we tested positive and once we were quarantined, we never left the stateroom. So we did what was required. So anyway, Brendan, thank you for the comment. I guess you've unsubscribed. You probably won't see this anyway, but that's my story. Jacek Marcelic, I believe, just came off Infinity in Buenos Aires, and during 2 weeks sailing, I just had everything to try. Overall, I'll give 2.5 stars out of 5. Low point is I had to return food back to the kitchen. He gives the food a 2.5 stars out of 5. Maybe Jacek is much pickier than we are. I don't know. I consider myself to be fairly picky. And Infinity can be a whole different animal. Every cruise, crew changes, provisioning, depending on where the ship is located, can affect the quality of the dining experience that you have on a cruise. And every person has different tastes and different ways of evaluating food. It's very hard to do. Jason gives Celebrity a 2.5 out of 5. I would probably give it more like a 4 to 4.5 out of 5 because we were very pleased with the food that we had on Celebrity Apex. But again, these things can change from one cruise to the next, from different destinations, crew changes, anything can affect food quality, taste, whatever. Larry Gallagher says, I do not like the new balconies or whatever they call them. I think he's referring to the infinity verandas on Celebrity, on the Edge class ships. I like to sit out on the balcony and my wife likes to read in bed. With no air conditioning, the cabin could get fairly hot. Not everybody's going to like this infinite balcony, infinite veranda, whatever you call it, where basically it is an ocean view stateroom with a complete full wall of glass and a window that can be opened halfway. They call it a balcony, but in essence, it is a ocean view stateroom, but they've carved out a little piece of it to be like a balcony. We have a complete review on our experience. We actually liked it. We thought it was a nice concept. We don't miss the balcony, especially in the Caribbean. There might be some locations around the world where I'd miss that balcony, but I personally feel like there's as many good things to say about the infinite veranda as there are bad things, and we would definitely sail in an infinite veranda again. I don't have a problem with it. What are your thoughts? If you've sailed on an Edge class ship in an infinite veranda, please put your comments down below. I'd love to read what you have to say. I don't even know how to say this name. Taisto? Hopefully you have compensated for the environmental damage you caused by all these cruises. I don't know how to respond to that. I'm not sure of what environmental damage Taisto is referring to. What environmental damage are we doing by having a boat sail through the water in the ocean? Do you realize how big the ocean is? Apparently this is not somebody that this is a troll. This is somebody that just goes to cruise YouTube channels and makes comments like this, because I don't have any idea what they're referring to, or he's referring to, or she is referring to. Robert Barnier says, enjoyed the video. This is our Apex review. One of the main ways I rate a cruise is how often you have to wait for seating everywhere. Is this the case on this class of ship? I only remember waiting one time to get into, I believe it was the Cosmopolitan restaurant. We showed up kind of early and there was already a line of maybe 10 people. And that's the only time I actually remember waiting in line the entire sailing for anything. Well, the other exception would be at the coffee bar, Il Baccio. A line will form there pretty much all day long, but it moves very fast. They're very good at getting people through. So if you're trying to get cookies or some coffee to go or something, there will be a little line there. And even in the buffet, I don't recall the lines being terrible, and our ship was pretty full. So one of the things I think we really enjoyed about this ship is we really didn't spend a lot of time standing in line. So thanks for that question, Robert. Dava360, he has about 5 weeks to go for his first Carnival cruise on Mardi Gras. I don't like Carnival's older ships, but feel like I will enjoy the XL class. All I can tell you, Dava, I'm sure by the time we've done this video, he's already been on the cruise. So if you watch this video, Dava360, put some comments in and let me know how you liked your cruise. I like the food on Carnival. I think it's one of the highlights for a budget mainstream cruise line. I think Carnival does an exceptional job with food. Some of the best food we've had has been on Carnival ships. I love the sushi bar. I love the teppanyaki. I love Rudy's new restaurant, even though we're not big seafood eaters. We really liked the Shebang Chinese Mexican fusion restaurant. We thought it was very good. I love Guy's Burgers. I like Big Chicken. I mean, there's a lot more good food on Carnival, especially the Mardi Gras and the XL class ships. A lot more to like than there is to dislike, in our opinion. So there's other restaurants on Mardi Gras too. Now, main dining, because there's so many specialty restaurants, and usually if we're on a media project where we're reviewing a ship, We just don't have enough days to eat at all the specialty restaurants and the main dining. So we may only go to main dining one time. And honestly, main dining on Carnival in the past has just been okay. It's not bad. It's just typical. It's pretty average. And we're not big fans of Carnival's buffet. I don't like the fact that you have to serve yourself. And we've just always found the food to be rather very, very average, maybe even below average. The only exception to that might be their little sandwich bar where they'll make you a sandwich. That's pretty good. This is a question we get a lot. This is from CS, and it says, what is your favorite ship of all time? And I don't know that we have a favorite. I think our favorite ship is the next one we're going on, regardless of what ship that is. It's always the next ship. That's the favorite. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't answer that. There are so many good ones. And there's so many different things that different ships have that other ships don't have. I don't know that we have a favorite. Christian Legal says, hi, I'm amazed that there's no reference on how smooth the ship is compared to any other cruise line that has a normal bow. This is referring to the parabolic bow on the Celebrity Apex. That's a very good point. I didn't mention that in our review, and I didn't know if it had to do with the parabolic bow. But our entire sailing was extremely smooth. We had almost no motion the entire cruise. Maybe that's due to the parabolic bow. Maybe it was due to the fact that the seas were a little calmer. I don't know. All I know is it was rock solid smooth. This is the celebrity review once again from Steady Options. Great review, but I find it strange you put Celebrity and Viking in the same category. Celebrity is a large ship and belongs to mainstream premium. Viking is entry-level luxury, along with Oceania and Azamara. We've said, okay, so basically he's questioning the way we classified Celebrity as a premium cruise line, and we also threw Viking into that mix. These things are difficult. There's so much crossover in the various brands and the various ships. He's right. The Viking are smaller ships, and you could very easily consider that entry-level luxury. We usually reserve the term luxury for ships that are completely all-inclusive as far as liquor, free drinks. Most of them, or a lot of them now, offer free excursions, which Viking does. So you're correct, Steady Options. You could consider Viking entry-level luxury, I suppose. But I think there's enough there that you could also consider it a premium cruise line as well. Kenneth Conklin, I sailed on Beyond in February 2023. I sail on Edge in February 2022. Of the two ships, I feel the crew were more attentive and happy on the Edge. I won't be sailing on Beyond again. We just didn't have that experience. Every person we came in contact with on Celebrity Beyond was amazing. They were all very friendly, from Captain Kate all the way down to everybody we came in contact with, whether it was a housekeeper or room steward, anybody, didn't matter. So again, that can change from ship to ship. It may depend on who you come in contact with. It could one sailing to the next, crew changes, blah, blah, blah. Hard to say that's going to be the same on every cruise, every ship, every brand. Honestly, we have had very few issues on any cruise line with crew members. They've all been pretty much very good, very, exceptional. Mark Olowick. This is on the food and dining review we did of Celebrity Apex. Can't believe you just glossed over the dramatic cutbacks in the Ocean View Cafe for dinner. It's less than 50% of what it was. But you've obviously been paid to do the review by Celebrity, hence your 9 out of 10 rating. Sad that you guys have become paid shills now. Well, Mark, I must have misplaced the check that I got from Celebrity, because we have never been paid by any cruise line to do a review of a cruise ship. I wish we were getting paid to do a review of a cruise ship. Now, cruise lines do often invite us and provide us with a stateroom, but We have never received any money, and Celebrity and no cruise line that we review ever gets to see our review before we post it. And they don't know what we're going to say. And I will mention things that we didn't like just as well as I'll mention things we like. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, there are cruise lines that won't invite us on their ships for that reason. They expect a 100% positive review, and we don't do that. So the cruise lines that we review, they understand. We've been doing this for 20 years. They understand how we work. They accept the risk that we're going to say something that may or may not be negative or perceived negative. That's just the deal. I mean, that's what journalism is. So, I'm not going to mention the names, but there are cruise lines that have not invited us on their ships for that reason. Ben Mullane, hi, new subscriber from UK, love your blog, learning about cruising, never actually been on a cruise, but planning our first one next year. Stupid question. In the MDRs or the specialty restaurants, can you order multiples or extra portions of items, or can you only order one starter, one main meal, one dessert? Ben, good question. That's going to vary from cruise line to cruise line. They all have a different policy on this. I've never seen a situation where they charge for an additional starter or a dessert. I have seen on many of the menus where they now are charging for an additional entree or additional main course. Not all of them do, but I have seen that. And that's a trend I think more and more cruise lines are doing. And I don't know if it's because of waste. I don't know if it's because they want to increase their profits or reduce costs. I don't know if it might be because they don't want you sitting there for 2 or 3 hours eating 3 entrees because they've got to get the tables cleaned up and moved out for the next group coming in. I don't know the reason behind it, but I know that some of them are charging for additional entrees. So it's going to vary from one cruise line to the next. Check their websites. They'll usually tell you on their websites if there is a charge for additional entrees or main courses. This is from OSnap. Just found your channel. Did you ever say what your top 5 cruise ships are? Thanks. Again, this is difficult, but I will attempt to tell you what I think right now would be our top 5 cruise ships. Now, I can't say this is going to be the same 6 months from now or a year from now, but I think of the 139 cruises we've been on, these would just off the top of my head be my top 5 ships. I would say the Edge class ships from Celebrity, which we just recently reviewed, Celebrity Beyond, I would say that would be in the top 5. I would say any of the Viking ocean ships that we've sailed on would be in our top 5. They're all identical, so you just take your pick. So I would include any Viking ocean ship in the top 5. So that's my first 2 picks. I would say any of the Silver Sea, Muse, Moon, probably Dawn, because we haven't sailed on Dawn, but it's the same class of ship. Anything within that class of ship would be in the top 5. If I was going to pick my favorite mega ship, my big ship, right now, it would be Celebrity Mardi Gras, or that class, that XL class of ship on Carnival. Did I say Carnival or Celebrity? I meant to say Carnival. Anyway, and then number 5, if I had to pick 5th, I'm going to include a river cruise ship in here. And I'm going to say any of the Tauk river cruise ships. Viking river cruise ships are also very, very nice. I think Tauk takes it just a hair up above the service, and it's all inclusive, and they do an amazing job with their excursions and their logniaps. If you don't know what a logniap is, well, we'll talk about that in a different video. But the Tauk river boats, which are also operated by Skilla, another company, but you'll know, if you look up Tauk river cruising, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then the Mardi Gras, the Celebrity Beyond, Viking ocean ships, and the Silver Sea, Moon, Muse, Dawn class. I think that's the Muse class, but I'm not sure. Or even the Silver Spirit. You know, the Silver Spirit is in that same We love it too. It's a great ship. So all of their newer ships, a little bit larger, lots of dining options. We really love the Silver Sea ships. So what are some of your favorite ships? What is your favorite ship or ships? Put it in the comments down below so we can all get to know. Okay, that's all the comments I picked for this episode of Coffee and Your Cruise Comments. So let me know how you like this format. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Coffee and Your Cruise Comments.